calculated originally at about 7.5 years, and it ended up being, it's probably gonna be about 6 with the energy savings that we're getting. I can always install more if I wanted to. It fit, the system that we put in fit on the unattached shed that I had on my farm, or at the acreage. Faces south, it was ideal because I don't have one on the roof of my house, I don't have any backyard or whatever. In fact, you drive by my place, people don't even know I have them because they run right into the roof. I just doing some figuring here, it costs about $3.37 a kilowatt to install them, I did. Contractor I chose, I don't know if I need to mention names, but I called a couple, there were only a couple, 2 or 3 that were doing it at the time, and basically the first phone call I got back, that was the person I went with, and I think they're all good. Through the bank, we've done business with all of them, I think they're all good contractors. It's lived up to all my expectations. The only maintenance problem that I would say is a little bit of an issue on mine is because of the slope of my roof. If I get a heavy wet snowfall, especially late December or January, it takes a long time to melt sometimes. So I really lose efficiency in basically January. It seems like February rolls around, the sun has more power and it melts off quicker. The ones that are standing up in backyards and stuff, and steeper pitched roofs, they melt quicker than mine. Amy's melts a little bit quicker than mine, but hers snow sticks on hers too, I noticed, so. That's the only problem that's the only downfall on mine at all, and the rain was free, 25-year guarantee, so.
Just say something really quick, because I didn't really get into the rooftop, but thank you for that, because we have a lot of rooftop situations downtown Decorah. You can go down Water Street, you won't see any of them, because they're all sitting up there flat, or at 10 or 15 degrees, mostly flat. So yeah, the snow sits on those year-round, nobody goes up there to clean them up, and it does decrease. But like Bill said, your production in those winter months is much less than summer anyway. And then being flat, actually you get higher production during summer months. So overall, the benefit there, you can get some snow decrease on tilted panels on the rooftop, but even flat, we're looking in Decorah at maybe 1,250 kilowatt hours per year as opposed to 1,350, 1,400 with mostly flat systems. So it's a decrease, but it's not massive. It is doable on flat roofs with relatively flat panels. And if you want to know more, we've had a bunch of these questions from folks in West Union, the workshop on Thursday, and they actually want to come up and do a Water Street tour. So, we could open that up too if there are local business people here interested in that.
Are they flat because ordinance is required that it's
No, they're just flat because these are flat rooftops on downtown businesses, and the easiest way to set them up was just setting them up mostly with ballasted systems without roof penetration.
I could set them up as.
You could do that too.
So if you could get up there and clean them, would you best?
You could get up there and shovel the snow off if you wanted to.
I've actually scraped snow off of mine with the broom, or you can reach up and pull it off. Fairly easy to do. Just wait till it warms up a little bit and then it'll slide right off. I ruined my broom, so I didn't clean off the last batch. But and what he said there, when he said, you can chart this I can look on my phone and see how they're producing today. So you can chart them every day. And January, February, the production is low, the sun's way down there. But in the middle of summer, July and August, I really kick butt because of the angle that they're at. So you make up for it. In the long run, it works out.
I'm Matt Brace with Cresco Building Service. Our project installed in March of 2014. The reason we did it probably was rebates and tax credits, and we thought it was a good way to maybe help reduce our global footprint, I guess, too. We got a big rebate from Alliant. We had state of Iowa tax credits and then also federal tax credits. And with that, we figure our payoff's going to be about 6.5 years. And that doesn't include our scheduled depreciation in that, so it's even quicker. Perry Novak Electric installed our system. We have an optimizer hybrid system for our inverters. We use Solar World panels, We aren't expecting much for maintenance. 1-year warranty on labor, a 25-year warranty on the panels, and a 20-year warranty on the inverters. And like Harold said, there's an online monitoring system. Just like probably a month ago, one of the mailbox guys stopped by and we didn't even realize that one of our panels was down. They were checking our system for us. We might have fixed it. And I think that's about it.
I'm Chuck in San Feldman. We farm up by Kendallville, and that's where our solar is. We put ours online in October of 13 for the same reason. The tax incentive at the time was real good. We did a lot of our work ourselves. We actually built our own rack, and we had a neighbor help us, and then we had an electrician hook it up that had some experience with the solar. It's the same thing here. It's been great. We'll have about a 7-year payback. At the time we did ours, the solar was coming down, and we had 22.8 cents per kilowatt into ours. And we haven't had any maintenance other than for 5 o'clock in the morning if it snows. She's usually not going to go up and sweep off the solar. So the only way we can get out of that is we moved into a different house, and now our son's in that house, so his wife is probably thinking but it's been real good. We actually, our farm is about a mile away from where our solar is, but we just felt like with the east winds of drying the corn and everything, it just seemed like it was a better fit at the house that we were living in at the time. And it had just a natural south slope, and it just worked out real well. We have 88, excuse me, we have 88 panels, so we have a 22.8 kilowatt system. And they allowed us at that time to do it with the net metering. So that has worked well too, because I think we figured at the time our house was going to take about 9 kilowatts, but we we use a lot more electricity. That's not even half of what we use throughout the year. But Andy was talking about your energy audits. They came up and did an energy audit for us after we put the system in. But yeah, and that's been awesome for us because they really, we found out, for example, on that, how being efficient our dryer was. So we put in a new dryer last fall, and through the program, the equip was amazing how they helped us do that. So there is, for us, the solar got us into really realizing what's out there, the benefits for it. And we just use, we are a lot more conscious now after putting the system in than we probably were before. But it's just, for us, it's been all good.
Great. Okay, questions for our panelists?
I'm thinking more from a homeowner, what do real estate agents say about reselling? Are we selling a business or are we selling a home if we put solar on it?
I haven't really heard, we didn't consider that at the time when we were selling it, I guess.
I didn't know that at the time, but it didn't add anything to your tax base. It's, our real estate taxes didn't go up. I would hope it's worth something when I put it on sale.
Our son enjoyed it because he didn't have an electric bill. He bought the house.
I had a place appraised, and I asked my appraiser what that would do, and she said she is now appraising them at a higher value based on what the energy that is coming off of it is, so that it will increase your property, and that's what one appraiser said to me. So.
Yeah, there's not enough history in Iowa to know what's going to do here yet. But there are studies out in California where solar's been out there for decades. And the studies out there show with a lot of statistics that it does increase the home value. Understand that electric rates out in California are much higher than they are here, so they're worth more out there than they are here. I think the bigger question would be when kind of like a car. If that solar system's been up there for 15 or 20 years, is it an asset or is it a liability now?
Maybe you might know, has there been any issue with lightning? Get it around here.
Yeah, I did not hear about lightning. The question I get more frequently is hail. And the panels, all panels are pretty much guaranteed against 1-inch hail. So here in Iowa, I've only seen one case of panels actually being hurt by hail. It was up in northwest Iowa where they had softball-sized hail, and it did break the panel. But interesting enough, in the entire array, which there was like 40 panels, only one broke. Certainly more of them took strikes than that one, but only one actually broke. I don't know of any electrical storm type problems. Certainly with wind turbines, that is a huge thing, but not with solar.
What about degradation of solar panels?
Yes, great question. We do talk about this in the booklet. The solar panels do degrade about 0.5% per year. And that degradation is actually guaranteed by the solar manufacturer. So they will tell you at the end of 25 years, the output of the solar panel, and it's roughly about 85% of what it was at the beginning. So when you're doing your planning and designing, understand that you're going to see a reduction every year.
What kinds of options are available for financing solar through like your home mortgage or refinance? I know it's that fair.
It's a little bit like the appraisal where the industry is catching up to the demand. Some banks are much more aware and willing to do loans for solar, secured or unsecured, home side or not. John, you're still, you want to talk to that now? Yeah.
Andy that works with me was actually going to talk about this, but he has a customer service, so he knows more about it than I do. Typically, the projects that we've been doing lately are, they go through the state, they get about 50%, up to 50% of it interest-free, and then we move on the balance for around 4% interest. It just requires basically a couple years tax returns and a balance sheet for the homeowner. We've got 4 of them now, I believe, for farmers, so it's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, got it on your existing policy. Yeah, and it's relatively cheap. I mean,
She just looked at it.
$145 a year for our AV panels. Yes.
I'd just like to emphasize to do the efficiency first. Because when I was putting my panels up, I was also building a new house and I didn't know how much the house would use. So after 2 years of operation, I have 2 megawatts in my account that I will never ever use. They're just a gift to the life. I would really like them to. I know, it's my nature, but it's really, I mean, I didn't do that intentionally. The house just turned out to be much more efficient than I thought, but it's really important to do that first.
I did a project for a small business in Decorah. They wanted to see what options they had. And I went and I showed them how much it cost to do all LED lighting in the facility, and how much they would save, and it was over like 45% of the solar cost saved just by replacing. They had T12s that were running, through high operating hours, and so just Just do your lighting first and cut your solar costs down.
And don't be blind, they would have let me put twice as much.
Did you say that there would be a taxes? Are you talking tax abatements on these? You said 5 years, you thought you'd be.
Well, that's property tax assessment.
Right now, law says that the investment that you make in a solar array cannot affect your property assessment for the first 5 years. So basically, it's an abatement on that portion of your property value.
And so then after that.
After that, it's very minimal.
So then is that depreciable? Do you know? I mean, after 5 years, are you?
Most systems in Iowa haven't been around for 5 years yet,
Right,
so
I
I'm
know.
not sure how that's.
But if you're gonna
actually-
make a financial decision, you wanna make sure you, because taxes are very important.
Yes,
And so if you had $40,000 that cost you secretly $80,000 in the account, that has quite a money, so I'm just wondering.
I would advise you to go to your tax accountant and try to get some more research on it. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know that anyone guaranteed. You might even go to the assessor's office and see how they're going to treat it.
Right, I mean, it's an unknown. We have to admit that it's an unknown. Some of the hints as to how it might be valued can be found in these other approaches, what I was referring to as third-party approaches, where you have owners, solar developers, who are not the meter owner and they're selling the power to, for example, in Decorah, a solar developer owns that array, sells the power to Luther College, right? They get the tax benefits, like tax equity financing, they pass through some of those benefits in good rates to Luther College. When the depreciation is all taken care of, 5-year makers, and then in the 6th or 7th year, that system gets turned over to Luther College at, quote, fair market value. Nobody knows exactly what that is, but it's estimated to be a quarter or less of the initial install cost. As those projects, those third-party projects, which are becoming common around Iowa, as you get to the end of the lifespans and the depreciation, and you get some fair market values, that's probably going to impact as well the property tax assessments. So it's almost like certain, not almost certain, but it's likely to be something much lower than the initial installed value. But again, no promises, don't know. I'm just saying that could be an indication.
Yeah, are there green credits to solar that, or does the utility?
Yeah,
There are green credits, but normally if you interconnect with your utility company, they're going to grant those from you as part of the interconnection.
Green carbon.
Yeah, green,
Renewable energy credits. Renewable energy credits do vary by utility. We actually in Winneshiek County have a local carbon trading market where there is some buying and selling of local carbon credits. Right now, of course, nationally, and we've got the Clean Power Plan that's on hold, and states are making some of these plans. If the Clean Power Plan goes forward, there will almost certainly be regional carbon trading markets, and then those renewable energy credits may have a value that they don't have today. There may actually be more of a market for those. Right now, when you own a solar system and you're an Alliant customer, you own the renewable energy credits per the net metering tariff with utility board. When you're a co-op customer, the Dairyland interconnect agreement here essentially says Dairyland claims those credits. It's all over the map, and where's that going to go in the future? We don't really know.
I don't know if this is related, but do you know about geothermal, does that have tax incentives?